And we're going to come into a nice, just kind of restful, supported bridge to start. So you'll have your ankles underneath your knees. You'll press into your feet. And I just recommend on this, starting out here, go the lowest or the medium height on your block. You don't need to feel like you have to go the highest possible. And then close your eyes here. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then just do that a few more times. So letting the day so far go, letting any stress, the to-do list, just putting it aside for the next little hour. And if you are just joining us, welcome. We're going to start in a supported bridge here. So either a block or a bolster, a cushion from the couch, your mat rolled up, just place that underneath your sacrum. And then eventually just starting to find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Listen to that soft rush of air that you create. And just use that sound to help draw you in, to help quiet you down. Do a little scan of your body. Are there places that you're holding that you don't need to? So sometimes in this pose in particularly, it's hard to let the inner thigh release. So you might be feeling a little tension in the groin. Soften there as much as possible. You might even start to snuggle your shoulders underneath you a little bit. So you feel a little more openness across your heart and chest. You feel those shoulder blades pressing down nice and heavy. Notice if there's any tension in your fingers and your toes. Soften in those places. Soften in the face, the jaw. Just feeling nice and relaxed here, starting out. This is a really beautiful pose to pay attention to your breath. So just notice how the breath fills everything up on the inhale. You expand in the front of the body, the back of the body, the sides of the body. Notice if you get distracted by sounds happening in the room that you're in. Notice if there's a persistent thought coming up for you. Maybe it's just feeling really easy to get quiet today as well. Then on your next inhale, you can keep your eyes closed, but go ahead and stretch your arms up overhead. And you can just bring your palms to face in towards each other. Notice how things change as you do that. So the configuration of the shoulders is a little bit different. You might even feel that your chest comes a little closer to your chin. Observe your feet too. If you started to roll to the outer edges, keep pressing evenly. And then let's just warm up the arms a little bit here. So as you exhale, it's like you're making a little snow angel. Just start to release your arms by your side. And then inhale. They reach up and overhead. It's okay if they're lifted off the floor a little bit. Exhaling, releasing down. Good. Inhaling up. Let's do a couple more. Just moving with your breath. And the next time your arms are by your side, leave them there. And let's stay in this supported bridge pose, but let's just find a little hip stretch here. So we're going to take our right ankle, cross it above that left knee. I'm just going to hold here for a few breaths. Really flex that right foot. That helps to engage the muscles around the knee. You can take your right hand into your right thigh. Gently press forward a little bit if it feels like you need a little more. Just noticing how this hip is feeling today. Good. One more deep inhale. And then go ahead and release that foot down, and then we'll take that second side. So staying in your supported bridge pose, but just crossing your left ankle above that right knee. Maybe taking your left hand to press into your thigh. Breath smooth and steady. Listening to that sound, always coming back to that sound. Good. As you exhale, uncross. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up off your block, and then slowly lower down. Let's walk our feet as wide as the mat. Take your arms out in a T shape, and just moving super slow. As you exhale, knees fall to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, they fall off to the left. Do a few more rounds like that, so there's no rush. Just noticing where you're feeling sensation, where you're getting stretch here. Good, and then you can bring your knees up to center, heel toe your feet closer together, hug your knees into your chest. Ooh, rock a little bit from side to side. And then start to roll forward and up, or forward and back on your spine rather. Eventually rolling all the way up, and if that doesn't work for you, you can always just roll off to one side or the other. Come to your tabletop position. Good, a few rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, you arch into your lumbar. Feel the chest come forward through the gates of your shoulders. Exhale, press evenly into your fingers. Round in, let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Continuing like that, just moving with your breath. Your eyes might still be closed here. And you're just noticing what the spine is feeling like as you start to warm it up here. Moving with that sound of your breath. Good, inhale, come back to a neutral spine so you're neither arching nor rounding. Gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. Good, stretch your right toes back, or that right leg back, curl those toes under. Feel that right hip release down, and then stretch your left toes back. So here we are in a plank pose, first one. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Pull the belly in, fire the legs up. Front of the thigh presses to the back of the thigh. These look really good. So sometimes the tendency here is to lift the hips too high, or we start to dump in the lumbar. Split the difference. And then nice and slow, use your belly to help pull you back, downward facing dog. Pedal back and forth between your feet a little bit. Just find any movement that feels good. See what's going on. Nice work. And then find that place of stillness so your feet are hips distance apart. Fingers spreading, pressing evenly, and let's just move into that plank pose and then back into our downward dog a few times. So going nice and slow, take the full inhale, shift forward on your toes. Good, and then exhale, pull back with your hips. It's like your little wave undulating on the ocean here. Inhaling forward, and then exhale. Pull back, two more on your own, moving at your pace. Nice work. And then from here, in your downward facing dog, inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step that foot through. land on your back knee, and we're just gonna move in and out of the hip flexor and the hamstring here. So blocks can be really nice, especially starting out. So melt down, feel that left hip release, and then inhale, stretch back. It doesn't matter if that right leg comes all the way to straight. We're just gonna move like this a few times. Exhale in. Good. Inhale, pull back. Feel that hamstring stretch. Couple more. Just moving nice and gentle with the breath. No hurry. Warming up these big muscles. All right, so the next time you're exhaling, getting into that left hip flexor, just hang out here for a few breaths. Fingertips can be on the floor or hands on blocks is really nice. Keep that breath moving. This can be really, really intense. From here, as you inhale, shift back, maybe walk the blocks back with you. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. The more you flex those right toes up towards the ceiling, the more you're gonna feel this stretch in your hamstring. So that's like your little gas pedal. All right, so start to rock forward, plant your palms, curl your left toes under, and just pull back, downward facing dog. As we inhale, we lift our left leg. And then exhale, we step that foot through, land on the right knee. So make sure you're not on a tightrope, feet are about hips distance apart. And then maybe find your blocks here. Exhale, melt that right hip flexor down the top of the leg towards the mat. Inhale, begin to straighten that left leg, left hip back, right hip forward. And then just continuing like this little mini vinyasa. What's going on in this side? How is it different than the other side? Good. So the next time you're exhaling, you're forward, just hang out here a few breaths. Slide the right knee back a little further if it feels like you need a little more stretch. Take your blocks a little higher if it's really intense. So always lots of ways to adjust and modify. Good, let's pull back on our inhale. Maybe take the blocks along with you. It's especially nice if you are tighter in that hamstring. If you're a little more open, you can walk your blocks forward. You can forward fold a little bit. Hips are facing the same direction here. So there is a sense that the left hip is drawing back as the right hip draws forward. Good work. All right, and then start to rock forward, plant your palms, curl your right toes under, step your left foot back to meet your right foot. Take a nice deep inhale in your downward facing dog. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. All right, so from here, let's exhale, shift forward into our plank pose. All right, come to your knees. As you exhale, elbows bend an inch, 2, no more than halfway. A couple of these mini ones. Inhale, press up. Try to keep the elbow squeezing in. Nice work. As you exhale, lower. Make sure you're not overarching in your lumbar. Inhale, press up. As you exhale, lower halfway, hover, gaze forward. Nice. And then land in one piece on your belly. All right, so let's come into our Sphinx pose today to start out. So landing with your shoulders over your elbows, pressing down into your palms, and then press into all 10 toenails. Feel the glutes squeeze a little bit here. So outer hips squeeze in towards each other. And then as you root down into forearms, it feels as though you're gonna drag the mat back towards your feet. So you're getting this openness to stretch across the heart. Let's go ahead and look out over our right shoulder. Any amount, you might not get all the way there, so just getting into the neck a little bit. Inhale to center, and then exhale. Just look out over that left shoulder. Good, come back to center. Let's interlace our fingers. So just keeping your elbows exactly where they're at. So we're just gonna do a little forearm plank here. So keep the shoulders sliding back, root into your forearms. Curl toes under, and then lift hips up. So sternum goes forward, tailbone reaches back. And you're gonna feel the obliques, the side muscles work a little more in this pose. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. Work the legs more than you think you can. Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale, lower hips down. Find that Sphinx pose again, lengthen back through all 10 toes, nice work. And then we're gonna exhale, lower, slide your hands back so fingertips come underneath your shoulder heads. As you inhale, find your low cobra. So you're gonna get a little more lift potentially in the upper body, but keep anchoring into your hip bones, your pubic bone, into your feet. Keep those elbows squeezing in. And then you're welcome to stay here. If you are ready to come into an up dog, drag your hands back a little further, so wrists underneath your elbows, and on your next inhale, press into the tops of your feet. Keep your legs as active as they are in your plank pose. Feel those outer hips squeezing in here too. Nice work. See if you can press the shoulder heads back a little more. You might need to bend your elbows to do it. So getting a little more stretch and openness across your heart and chest. And then you roll over your toes into downward dog. If you are in your cobra, you can press to tabletop and then back here. And then let's start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Good, inhale, chest lengthens. So fingertips on floor or hands on shins or thighs, chest extends forward. As you exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Nice work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Couple rounds of our half Surya Namaskara. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, gracefully fold in. Inhale into your Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Beautiful work. As you exhale, release back in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. One more. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, adding on. As you inhale, stretch up, reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen, so gaze is forward. Feel your heels really heavy here. Keep them pressing back as long as you can. As you walk forward into your downward facing dog, they'll lift at some point, that's fine. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, land on that left knee. As you inhale, rise up into your low crescent. Good, and let's hang out here for a couple of breaths. I want you to hook your thumbs and then stretch the thumbs apart. So you're gonna feel a little stretch in the upper arms, across the backs of the shoulders. You can feel your sternum lift up. Maybe you even begin to bring your gaze up. And just make a note of what thumb is crossed on top. Good work. As you exhale, release down here. Curl your left toes under, firm that thigh up. All right, so keep your hips nice and low, deep bend in this right knee. Take your arms out wide. Make sure you're not laying your belly down. And then inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. So you have this long line of energy. Nice. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Shift forward. You can do full chaturanga this time, or you can use your knees again. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Land on your right knee. All right, so as we inhale, we reach up, low crescent, and then hook thumbs the way that feels funny. Start to stretch apart. Good, breathe into your upper back ribs. Direct your tailbone down, feel your sternum lift. Maybe bring your gaze up. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Fire up that right leg as you curl those toes under. So you're gazing slightly forward. You're engaging the muscles in your belly here. Inhale, take your arms out wide. And then stretch the arms up overhead. So keeping nice and low, little core work. I feel this in the outer left hip. As you exhale, release your hands down. Step back to your plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway hover or all the way down. Inhale into your low cobra or upward facing dog. Nice work. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. Check. To see that your feet are about hips distance apart. Second and third toe point forward. Maybe the legs are starting to open up a little bit. So it feels like the heels are melting a little further back, and you can stretch those sit bones up towards the ceiling. Allow your breath to slow down if it started to speed up. As we inhale, we're going to find a little bend in the knees, come to the tippy toes. End of your exhale, step right then left, or you can hop both feet through. You can walk forward. So just coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Nice. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So keep looking forward, bend knees, plant palms, left foot back, then right. Stretch out this exhale as you lower. Inhale into the back bend of your choice. Nice work. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Full crescent pose this time. As you inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. All right, as you inhale, rise on up. You can always have a little bend in that back knee, especially if that hip flexor is still feeling tight. And then let's go ahead and make cactus arms here. So as you exhale, bend the elbows. Good, take a nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, just fly the arms in. Inhale, engage the muscle, so slowly open up. Nice work. Exhale, press in. Inhale, open up, feel that stretch across your heart and chest. Good, take an exhale here. And then inhale, reach fingers up. As you exhale, let's come into a nice little twist here. So you're gonna root down into your left palm, maybe hand on a block. Press to the inner edge of your right foot. Start to spin open. So stacking your shoulder blades on top of each other. You can always lower your back knee in this variation. And you want to keep that left leg really strong. Nice work, Kyla. These all look good. Gaze can be down, forward. You might even start to look up at that top thumb if it feels okay in your neck. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. All right, so from here, step back to your plank pose. From there, you can take a chaturanga vinyasa, or if you would prefer to just pull back to downward facing dog, that always is an option. All right, so keeping hips even as you inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step that foot through. Might need to walk it off to the left a little bit. So feet are hips distance apart. This time, rise up into your full crescent pose. Good, you can always have a little bend in that right knee. if you need to. So I trip on props here. All right. So again, as we exhale, release the arms down. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale. Just imagine that you're pushing some weights here. Press in. Inhale, open up. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other on the back of your body. Pressing in. Inhale, open up one more. Hold here. Good, and then as you inhale, stretch your arms up. And then we make our way into our twist. So start to hinge forward, root down into your right palm. Keep that back leg really active. Press to the inner edge of the left foot as you start to open up, stacking your shoulder blades on top of each other. You can lower the back knee if you need to. Breath smooth and steady. Beautiful work. Couple more breaths. Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind, palms plant on either side of that left foot. Keep your gaze forward, step back to plank. From there, take a chaturanga vinyasa moving with your breath, or move into your downward facing dog. And then a few breaths in your downward dog. Let everything slow down. Use this as a little mini resting pose, even though it's very much not a resting pose. What craziness am I saying? Hopefully it is starting to feel a little easier in your body though, as we continue to warm up. All right, so from here, we're gonna inhale, take a little bend in the knees, come to the tippy toes. End of your exhale, lightly hop through, step left and right, walk. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. All right, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So peek down at your feet, about hips distance apart. Again, they can be a little closer if that feels comfortable in your body. We're gonna do a little moving chair pose with the breath. So as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. As you exhale, keep that bend in your knees, hinge forward, stretch arms back, keep the shoulder heads lifted. Yes, nice. Inhale, back into your chair pose. Exhale, press your legs to straight. If you like that, inhale, see how low you can sink. Exhale, keep that length through the sides of your waist. Inhale, chair. Press your legs to straight. Good. Inhaling, knees bend. As you exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, back to your chair pose. Exhale. One more. You're going to feel those quadriceps start to burn. Enjoy it. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale. Keep shoulder heads lifted. Inhale, back into your chair. Let's hold here. Inhaling, exhaling. See if you can sink a little lower. Oh, and then nice and slow. As you inhale, press your legs to straight. Hallelujah, that's over. Bring your hands together at your heart. Close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths. Let's do one full round of our classic Surya Namaskara B. So we're going to be adding in our warrior one and our chair pose into this sun salute. So releasing your arms by your side. As you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. Good. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, take your right foot back, then your left foot. Lower through your chaturanga or skip it. Nice work. As we inhale, we're all going to lift our right leg. Hips stay even. Exhale, step that foot through. This time, spin into the back edge of your left foot. So we want to try to keep some of that crescent feeling of both hips facing forward. It's going to be a little harder here. Inhale, rise on up. Nice, keep that back leg really strong. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Palms plant, step to your plank pose. And again, you take a chaturanga vinyasa or you pull back downward facing dog. Good work, everyone. From downward dog, as you inhale, lift your left leg, hips stay even, feel them squeeze in towards each other. Use your belly to exhale, step that foot through between your hands. Spin into the back edge of your right foot, those toes point towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Strong legs, inhale, rise up. Keep dragging that left hip forward. Or left hip back as right hip comes forward, rather. Good. As you exhale, hands return to the mat. And again, you make your way through a chaturanga vinyasa or skip it. Sometimes they just feel like a little too much on a Monday. And then as you pull back to your downward facing dog, slow your breath, make any little adjustments that you need to. Inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, lightly hop through or step right then left, walk forward. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Big bend in the knees as you inhale, come into your chair pose, Utkatasana, arms reach up overhead. Nice work. As you exhale, press your legs to straight. Hands come together at your heart. All right, so let's just get into the core a little more here. As you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. Nice and slow. I want you to continue bending your knees. You're gonna do a little plop onto your sit bones. All right, so you don't wanna be on the center of your sit bones here, sitting nice and tall. This is gonna get progressively harder, but try to hold on to this idea of the spine staying nice and long. Let's all take our hands underneath our thighs. And as you're doing that, you can press the shoulder heads back, lift one leg, then the other. So you might just stay here like this with this support. Maybe you can reach your arms forward and keep that length in your spine. You might be able to extend legs straight. That's a lot of work in the hip flexors. Deep inhale. Exhale, lower halfway, so shoulders are still lifting, legs are lifted. Inhale, back up. Good, exhale, lower, Ardha Uttanasana. Not Ardha Uttanasana, Ardha Navasana. Inhale into Navasana. Exhale, lower. Inhale, if you're gonna feel this deep in your low belly. Okay, so this time we exhale, lower, keep stretching forward. Let's lift our right leg up. Take your hands to the outside. You can flex or point your feet, whatever feels better. So nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower. You might need to put your left heel on the floor. Inhale, right leg comes up. Good, exhale, lower. One more, inhale, up. Exhale, lower. Stretch arms forward, lift a little higher. And then that left leg comes up. Take both hands to the outside, deep inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower. This is when you turn your camera off and skip stuff. Inhale, up. Almost there, exhale, lower. Stretch arms forward. And then plop on down. Give the knees a squeeze. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then let's start to rock forward and back. We're gonna rock up into our chair pose. So you're gonna get a little momentum, and it's a little trickier to stick it than you might think. So if it doesn't look super pretty, don't sweat it. Nice, Neil. Nice, Kyla. Good, and then exhale, press your legs to straight. Hands come together at your heart. Good work. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, left foot back, then right foot. All right, so let's stay here in our plank pose. Fire up the heels, lower onto your forearms. So just pressing down, you can interlace fingers if you like that variation. Just make sure that you land with your elbows underneath your shoulders. Now let's take our feet a little bit wider. All right, we're gonna roll to the outer edges. Let's roll to the right. So feet are staggered. Keep your shoulders facing the same direction. You're gonna feel this on that right side waist. Inhale to center. All right, and then exhale. Dip the hips off to the left. Try to keep your shoulders, your upper body square to the mat. I don't know about you, but I'm shaking. Back to center. Oh, and then go ahead and just release. Hips down. Find that Sphinx pose again, which is going to be a nice little release after that core work. All right, so go ahead and just lay on down. You can bring your arms by your side. Just turn your cheek to one side for a moment. And then turn your cheek to the other side. And then just bring your arms by your side. So we're going to gently press up. We're going to come into Dolphin Pose. If you have a block, I want you to go ahead and grab that. And if you don't have one, no worries. We're just going to use this as a little template. So you could just interlace your fingers again. So in our Dolphin Pose, we're basically doing downward facing dog on our forearms. But if you do have a block, you can use that. And, you know, sometimes we do this variation where we take the block between the index finger and the thumb, so the forearms are pressing down. Today, I actually want you to do more of a karate chop motion. So it's gonna be this part of the arm that's pressing down into the mat. And you can really squeeze in there. The block is a nice little template to keep your shoulders nice and even. All right, so we'll find that setup. And so you do start with shoulders over elbows. And again, if you don't have it, just interlace your fingers again. That's going to work. You can kind of tuck that bottom pinky finger under so you have a nice flat surface. All right. So knees in fairly close. Curl your toes under. And then start to lift your hips up. And then you might start to walk your feet in any amount. Your head is up off the mat. And you're just gazing between your feet here. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Feel the shoulder blades release towards your tailbone. So sometimes the shoulders can start to creep up around the ears here. Good, keep firming into those forearms a lot as you inhale, lift your right leg up. And let's pretend that we're standing on that foot. So you're not pointing the toe, so you're kind of making an ugly foot. Yeah, nice, Susanna. Susie. Good, exhale, release down. And then inhale, lift that left leg. So it's really active, trying to get this idea of that hip stacking over the shoulders, that heel stacking over the hip. Good, exhale, release. And then come into a quick little child's pose. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Okay, so for those of you that have your cameras on, you're gonna give me a thumbs up situation here. So is anybody interested in potentially, if you have wall space available, taking this into forearm balance? Do you wanna walk through that, or do we wanna skip that today? So if anybody is game, thumbs up. And if I don't see anything, we're probably just gonna do dolphin pose again. That's a no. I'm not. Okay, we're not gonna do that. So we're gonna just do one more round of this dolphin pose. And if you're cooked on it, you're just gonna stay in your child's pose. Otherwise, if you have one final little push in you today, let's go ahead. Let's do it a little different this time. So just to kind of feel this pose and our arms a little bit different, you can move the block out of your way, but we're gonna actually press into the bottom of the hand. So I guess it wouldn't be the top of the hand rather. So into the backside of the arm. So your forearm is gonna be facing up towards you. And it's just gonna feel a little different in the shoulders. Same things apply. Shoulders over elbows, press down. Your fingers aren't gonna get exactly flat here. Curl the toes under and then walk your hips in any amount. Just release the head down so you're gazing between your feet. Stretch those sit bones up. Keep pressing into the tops of the arms. And then one more time, if you'd like to lift that right leg up. Maybe if you want to just hop that left foot off the floor. So just a little practice balance if you're game. Release that side down. Nice. And then inhale, lift your left leg up. Good. Firm down into your forearms if you want to do a little hop with that right foot. It's nothing big. Nice kneel. And then exhale, release down. Great work. Again, child's pose. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. And then find a little twist here in your child's pose. So just walk your arms off to the right, lay your belly out over that left thigh, right thigh. Come back to center and then find that little twist to the left. So laying your belly out over that left thigh. Start to walk back to center. From here, let's pull back to our downward facing dog. We're gonna be setting up for our single pigeon. So have a block or a blanket handy in case you need something to slide underneath that right sit bone. We're gonna inhale, lift our right leg. And then exhale, you're gonna shift forward. So we're gonna start to open up that hip. You're gonna slide your left knee back and then release down. So the more open you are, the more you'll be able to parallel this right shin to the top of your mat. If you're a little tighter in the hips, your right heel is gonna come pretty close to that left hip flexor. And you're also probably gonna snuggle a blanket underneath here. And then you can start to melt in any amount. This is a nice place to have some blocks. You can use them for your hands or to rest your forehead. If this pose is absolutely just like not your thing, couple of options. You can come into your Sukhasana, double pigeon. So a little forward fold here, crossing your right shin in front of the left. Or you can come onto your back and do your reclining pigeon pose. So we did that at the beginning in our supported bridge. You can stay here like this, or you can go in a little deeper. So lots of little different options here. We all kind of have a different take on what feels best in our bodies. Some days we like to do the one that really stretches us. Some days we just want to mellow out a little bit, and that's absolutely okay. If you are in your single pigeon, really extend back through that left leg. That leg essentially feels as though it's in that Cobra pose that we do when we're on our belly. So there's that sensation of inner Left thigh spiraling up. And again, both hip bones are rooting down evenly into your mat. Check in with your breath again, what's going on there. So it might naturally be slowing down a little bit. That being said, these hip stretches can be pretty intense, so maybe it's gotten a little shallow. So you need to more consciously lengthen out the inhale and then stretch out the exhale. Make sure that the jaw, the face is nice and soft. Back out a little bit if it ever starts to feel like too much. Let's do about 5 or 6 more breaths here, wherever you're at. Okay, so if you are seated, you can just roll on up on your inhale, extend legs to straight. If you're on your back, go ahead and release. If you're in your single pigeon, might feel good to walk your hands in, come up to fingertips, press your shoulder heads back. So think upward dog here in your upper body, nice work. And then you'll make your way into your second side. It can often feel good to do a little 3-legged dog, open up that right hip if you just did your single pigeon. So you're welcome to do that if you'd like. And then as you're ready, that left leg lifts, step that foot through. So on these hip stretches, side to side, it is not uncommon for one side to be a lot tighter than the other. So if this is that side, you might do a completely different pose if you need to. Certainly use props if that's the case. So in the single pigeon, a little prop underneath that left sit bone is really helpful. Keep the foot flexed in whatever variation you're in, just to protect the knee joint. And then we have a couple of minutes here. So you're taking your time as you melt into this pose, exploring what it feels like on this side of your body. And even though it's intense, just remaining calm, keeping your breath moving. So using that breath to help you be here. A few more good breaths. Melt in a little more, back out a little. What do you need? All right, so start to make your way out of this, whatever variation you're in. And again, if you're in that single pigeon and you wanted to do that three-legged dog, open up that left hip. Feel free to do so. Sometimes that just feels nice after this pose. And then let's all come down onto our backs. So have your prop handy again. We're going to return to this restorative bridge pose. So you're welcome this time. We're nice and warm. So maybe you go a little bit higher. If you have two blocks, you can even stack them on top of each other this narrow way and do that. And we're going to carry this into our supported shoulder stand if you want to go there. So go ahead. Find that supported bridge pose, but just notice how different it feels than it did at the beginning of class. So there's definitely a lot more openness across the hip flexors. The upper body feels more spacious, more easy. Hopefully the back of the neck feels a little longer. Close your eyes, listen to your breath, and you're really stretching that inhale out, lengthening out the exhale. If this feels like a good place to be, you stay here. If you'd like to come into your supported shoulder stand, so make sure that that block is underneath your sacrum. You might need to adjust a little bit as you come up. So bend one knee and then the other, and then extend one leg to straight, then the other. So if you're a little tighter in your hamstrings, little bend in the knees is going to be nice. Otherwise, you can start to straighten the legs. Again, you can point the toes, flex the toes, kind of just see what feels good in your body. They're both a little different. You're feeling your inner thighs spiral forward. You're directing your tailbone forward. And as you can tell, even with this block underneath our sacrum, there is a good amount of weight in the shoulders and in the neck. So we always want to be really mindful in this pose not to look side to side. Just press into the center of the back of the head. Nice little break for the legs. This is a good one to do if you've been standing a lot during the day. Good. So if your legs are still extended, just start to bend knees. Release feet down to the mat. And then let's inhale, press into our feet, remove the block out from underneath you. And before we come into our final resting pose, Shavasana, let's find a nice little twist here. So a couple of options. One great option is to take the block between your thighs, squeeze in, and then drop legs off to one side. Sometimes that just helps to keep the sacrum more steady. You can also just have knees stacking on top of each other. If you like that version where you cross legs, left thigh will come over the right thigh. You'll scoot your hips off to the left a little bit and then fold in. And you could always take a block underneath your legs here too. So try to feel both shoulder blades pressing heavily into the mat underneath you. And then maybe you start to roll onto your left cheek. So feeling a little stretch in the neck. Good. As you inhale, come on up to center. So even things out, and then take that twist. Same one that you did on the right side, off to the left. Feel right shoulder blade pressing down heavy, maybe gazing out over your right fingertips. Back up to center. Good. If you had a block, go ahead and just move it out of the way. Give the knees one final squeeze. If it feels good to come into quick little happy baby, grab the outer edges of your feet or thighs, gently press down. And then as you feel ready, make your way into your Shavasana. Modify if you need to, take a little blanket underneath your knees. You can bend the knees, take feet wide, allow the knees to knock in towards each other. You can snuggle the shoulders underneath you. And then just let your breath do its own thing. Give yourself permission to be quiet, to be still, to soak up these final moments in Shavasana. Let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And then just bring some movement back to your body. Wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out, circle ankles, wrists. Then you're gonna roll off to one side or the other, just finding the fetal position. Use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Check in, notice how you feel, what shifted for you this past hour. Hopefully it feels as though there's more space in your body. Notice how your breath has stretched out, lengthened out, gotten deeper. And then finally, just check in with your headspace. So hopefully you're feeling a little calmer, quieter, a little more focused, a little happy. We'll take happy on a Monday whenever we can get it. Finally, just send yourself lots of love and gratitude for showing up and working hard, for making the effort. Just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling you've created with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart and just bow your head with a smile.